The days of any press is good press are over. In the case of Amazon's Rings of Power, could be more proof positive of this statement, especially when any sort of criticism of the casting of the elves and the dwarves was met with accusations of racism when it was simply criticism based on Tolkien's work, his writing, his descriptions of the characters. But if you criticized any of these characters whatsoever, you were shouted down as being nothing more than a racist, a bigot, a filthy istophobe. And the fans said, okay, fine, we just won't watch it. And here we go again, the negative press tour, the anti-press tour for Rings of Power. Article from Bounding into Comics. Owain Arthur, latest actor to push narrative that critics of the show are racist. That way, you can attempt to ignore anything of what they say. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Owain Arthur, who plays Durin the Fourth and the latest actor on the show, is the latest actor on the show to push the narrative that critics of the show are racist. One day this will end. One day the studios, the executives, the actors and actresses involved, the showrunners, everyone will figure out that maybe, just maybe, if you stop insulting the fans, they'll check out your work and judge it from there. But why waste time on a good thing? Why be smart? The narrative began throughout the promotion of the show leading up to season 1 premiere. The show's producer, Lindsay Weber, made it clear she believed individuals criticizing the race swapping of characters in the show, as well as the depiction of Galadriel, were racist. What? Claiming that the depiction of Galadriel was racist? She's white. How's that racist? I thought you couldn't be racist against white people. Okay. She told Time, we're all up for criticism. No, you're not, because you didn't listen to any of the criticism. We're not up for racism. Criticizing that dwarves probably aren't black and the elves aren't black based on what J.R.R. Tolkien wrote in countless pages, in letters, in the novels themselves, saying that he didn't describe any of them that way. That's not racism. That's criticism. That is criticizing your desire to change and warp and dement anything and everything that Tolkien wrote. That's criticism. It's the definition of criticism. But you want to call it racist and ignore all that? Well, then people just didn't watch. Series showrunner J.D. Payne. J.D. Payne sounds like a rap name. Also described critics as trolls, quoting Tolkien, saying they are, quote, creatures of dull and lumpish nature that had no more language than beasts. So when Tolkien fans and critics of your hot garbage use Tolkien's quotes against you, they are racist. But if you use it to describe those critics, well, you're just, I guess, you're the smart one in the room, aren't you? Huh. Amazon Studios and Prime Video really ramped up the narrative when they posted to the official Lord of the Rings on Prime Twitter account back in September. Quote, we, the cast of Rings of Power, stand together in absolute solidarity and against the relentless criticism, threats and harassment and abuse some of our castmates of color are being subjected to on a daily basis. Oh, you mean being on the internet? Okay. We refuse to ignore it or tolerate it. Well, it's probably best to ignore it, because if it is actual people being racist and saying racist things, they're being moronic trolls, and by acknowledging what they say, you are giving them a dopamine hit, giving them that little 5 seconds of fame and making them want to do it more and more. Sorry. They continue. J.R.R. Tolkien created a world which, by definition, is multicultural, and yet you took that culture and butchered it and bastardized it to suit your liking. A world in which free peoples from different races and cultures joined together. Their criticism didn't have anything to do with any of that. Their criticism was based on specific races in Middle-earth that were described in specific ways. But you choose to ignore that and try to bundle it all up and say that the criticism was claiming black people couldn't be in Lord of the Rings, which is categorically untrue. Everyone knows that. But as far as the elves and the dwarves are concerned, yeah, they were described very clearly, but whatever. To defeat the evil force, come together in a fellowship to defeat the evil forces, the forces of evil. My brain just flipped on itself. Rings of Power reflects that. No, it doesn't. About the only thing it reflects is trash writing. Our world has never been all white. No shit. Fantasy have never been all white. Yes, and nothing in Middle-earth has ever been described as all white. The elves, however... Oh my God, the pretentious nature of this entire statement. BIPOC belong in Middle-earth, and they are here to stay. No one ever said that. No one said BIPOC could not be in Middle-earth, ever. But the elves and the dwarves were described in a very particular manner that you choose to ignore. In conclusion, they wrote, finally, all our love and fellowship go out to the fans supporting us, all three of them, especially fans of color who are themselves being attacked simply for existing. Oh, we are taking the virtue signaling up to 11 with this. We see you, your bravery, and endless creativity. Yet pandering to people doesn't end well. When everyone figures out that it's nonsensical pandering, they respond accordingly and they turn your bullshit off. Your cosplays, fan cams, fan art, and insights make this community a richer place and remind us of our purpose. You are valid, you are loved, and you belong. You are an integral part of the Lord of the Rings family. Thanks for having our backs. Lord of the Rings has been translated to... I know the last time I made a video it was over 38, but I do believe it's way more than that. Over like hundreds of languages. It's sold millions of copies all over the world. So trying to say that now that you can see yourself in it, you can relate to it, you can understand it, is a load of bullshit. Following these accusations, of which they provided no evidence, again, they never provide evidence, that should be normal. I'm going to make these claims with zero evidence whatsoever. No evidence to back up their claim. They rolled out Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Dominique Monaghan, and Billy Boyd, who played Frodo, Samwise, Merry, and Pippin in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Wood shared a picture of himself. Yeah, you are welcome here. Yes, pandering, virtue signaling. Astin shared a selfie of himself wearing the hat with the phrase in Elvish as well. He tweeted the phrase too, you are welcome here. No one has ever said they're not. This is a nonsensical spin on legitimate criticism of specific Lord of the Rings characters. Didn't stop there. Actor Ishmael Cruz Cordova, yes, he cried on set, needed an on-set counselor. Sophia Nomvet came out and said, oh, she was statistically the most targeted of the cast. Oh, my God. Cruz responded to the fact that the attention was shifted toward that show. The fact that the attention was shifted toward that shows you what the power of shows. What did I miss here? Where they asked about the supposed racist backlash to the casting. The fact that the attention was shifted toward that shows you what the power of shows like this is. The power of the power of your show is nothing. No one's going to remember it. It's going to be ridiculed, pointed at, laughed at because of the nonsensical acting, the terrible writing, and ridiculous casting choices. The fact that it hit that nerve. Oh, it hit that nerve. Oh, the massive number of racists. The millions and millions of racist fans of Tolkien came out and said, dwarves aren't black in Middle-earth. Elves aren't black in Middle-earth. Oh, and then being called racist because they claiming that, oh, you don't think people of color should be in Middle-earth. It's like, no, that's not what they said. Did it become a bit too much? Absolutely. It's taken airtime from the depth of who we are as artists, but it just shows you where we are in the world and how much work we still have to do. I'm just very grateful that it's us. You think you're on some sort of crusade to end something that's not even there as far as the show goes. Sure, there's racism throughout the world. That's never going to end because, again, people are stupid. But to say that the criticism directed towards the show, towards the casting, towards the writing is racist, no. You're not going to win any awards. Sorry. Where is the information? We've already seen all this. Sophia Nomvet, to answer your question, ton of controversy, yada, yada, yada. Showrunner J.D. Payne, describes critics' actions as patently evil. I bet that's going to get more and more people to watch your show, calling the critics evil. evil. Okay, that's the spirit we tried to inoculate into every single comma and period in the show. That this aspiration would be offensive to people and enrage them, it's very hard for us to understand. Yes, because you're not actually reading what they're saying. I'm not going to continue to repeat myself the same thing over and over again. Where's the Mr. Dwarf? Where's he at? You go away. No, I've skipped it, passed it up. There, let's see. Cynthia, Anyway, that's enough of the article. What do you think about all this stuff? Are you tired of being called a racist because you judge something based on the source material? It's been happening over and over again. It seems to be the fan baiting. I did a video on it. And if I knew how to do inserts into videos, I would have it as an insert in the top right or top left or whatever. But this is getting absolutely tiresome. More and more people, they're waking up to it. I've said it before. You constantly come out, the studios, the directors, again, constantly coming out and trying to shoot down any and all criticism because one of the main characters is a woman. One of the main characters is a black woman, black man, or whatever person of color they decide to put in the forefront. And you criticize that character or the show in any way, shape, or form, and you're automatically called a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, whatever. And again, people are waking up to it. People are shrouding it down, fighting back against it, trying to relay the message. Just follow the source material. Respect the source material. Respect the author, the artist of where you are ripping this material from, and then maybe more and more people will give you the time of day. But if you constantly come out and call all criticism out as being istophobic, then you end up, I guess, getting collateral damage, where the normie will find an article or a video like mine or someone else way more better speaking than me and wonder, well, they can't be talking about me, but it sounds like they're talking directly to me because I think what they're doing in the show is nonsense. They must be talking about me. I'm not going to watch anymore. And you lose viewers over and over consistently. And it becomes exponential. But let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a dislike. I appreciate you making it this far. Are you tired of this nonsense? I sure as hell am. Have a good one.